Last year, Trevor, Anne-Marie and I visited one of our favourite places in Italy, a beautiful stretch of coast on Italy's western shores known as Cinque Terre.
How's your hike going so far?
It's excellent. One of the best hikes I think I've been on. This is truly amazing, beautiful.
The Cinque Terre National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is only a 2-hour drive from Florence and kind of on the way to the Netherlands, where we were heading. So, of course, we decided to spend the day in the area. The easiest way for us to get there was to spend the night in La Spezia, a larger town nearby, and from there we took the train into the park. Although you can buy single tickets, we opted for the one-day train pass, which was just under 20 euros. The pass gave us access to the park in unlimited use of the trains and the buses between the villages. The national park extends through the territories of 5 coastal villages and covers a little over 17 square miles. If you're thinking that it looks a little familiar, you're probably right. Riomaggiore, the southernmost town, was also the inspiration for the Pixar movie Luca. Unlike the movie, there's an absence of Vespas, but everything else is spot on. You can't really get around by car very well, so I'd say that walking one of the many trails like we did is definitely the best way to go about it. The area is prone to landslides, and parts of the park were off limits when we visited. Fortunately, most of the coastal walk was still open. We set off in good spirits from Monterosso and were soon blown away by the blue water and lush vegetation.
Because she's pregnant.
And dying.
You might be because but you're doing really well. And I don't think you're dying, I think you're doing great. So
I'm dying. It's death.
After spending a lot of time in Florence, it was definitely a welcome change. We chose to hike north to south, which meant a pretty steep climb at the start, but as it winds through the wine terraces, you're definitely rewarded with some good views. After that, it was a pretty easy hike with a good dose of cats and plenty of sunshine.
I want a tiny kitten.
The name Cinque Terre means 5 lands and dates back to the 11th century when Monterosso was first settled. Over time, the landscape evolved from an inaccessible shoreline into the colorful scenery we see today.
This has been one of the top 3 or 4 hikes I think I've ever done. Cinque Terre is one of a kind and you absolutely should come check it out, especially if you're in Italy. It's definitely worth the day trip from wherever you are. So definitely would recommend doing this. Beautiful.
As we made our way south, we were amazed by the quaint villages. You'll either see the colourful houses from quite far away somewhere on a hilltop, or you stumble upon them hiding amongst the cliffs. I'm quite happy we were there outside of high season, so we had the opportunity to visit without all the crowds. Unfortunately, like a lot of popular places, it gets very busy in summer, and whilst it brings in a lot of tourism, not all the locals are happy about it.
Da ottobre in poi può essere anche un paradiso, adesso è un inferno, purtroppo.
So the way the towns are laid out makes for a lot of narrow streets. Nevertheless, they're filled with shops and restaurants, so of course we had to stop at one of them to grab some lunch.
how's the food?
Really good.
Yeah.
No, they put the olives and the grapes and stuff on it.
We made it to the town of, what's this town called?
Corniglia.
We made it to the town of Corniglia, and just in time because it's going to rain.
And as predicted, it did. So we grabbed a little snack, and since it was raining anyway and the trail ahead was closed, we decided to call it a day. It took a little while for the bus to show up, and I'm glad that it did because the rain was getting worse and worse. Squeezed into a little bus surrounded by strangers hiding from the rain was not a bad way to end our adventure.
Made it to the train station, gonna head back to La Spezia. Not gonna make it to the last 2 towns, but...
We almost had to beat up children.
No children were almost beat up. It was their parents.
What I quite like about Cinque Terre, outside of the obvious natural beauty, is that it's very accessible. Since the train runs frequently and it stops at every village, you can end your hike anywhere you want. Away from the crowded cities of Florence and Pisa, the Cinque Terre National Park is definitely worth a visit. Just make sure you bring plenty of water, good shoes and a raincoat.